Hello, thank you so much for joining me today for Give Him 15. And the title of today's post is The Covenant Tree. In the past two posts, I shared a dream in which I boxed and knocked out 5 giants. One boxing glove was imprinted with Everlast and the other with Evergreen. In the dream, I stated that in order to knock out giants in this season, we would need to wear these two gloves. I found the dream's interpretation from the life of Abraham and the appeal to heaven flag. Everlast is one of God's names. Evergreens represent covenant. Abraham planted a tamarisk evergreen tree and called on everlasting God. There's too much information in the post to make a short review possible, but if you didn't see them, you could do so here and here. I've given you links. I believe you will find them encouraging. Today, staying with the theme of America's covenant alliance with Yahweh, I'm going to readdress a dream given to Gina Golston on January 22nd, 2022, 1/22/22. The dream was relevant then, it is even more so now. Here is that dream. I dreamed I was with, this is Gina's account, I dreamed I was with several prayer leaders, including Dutch Sheets. We were walking through a field with tall grass and noticed a hill ahead of us. This caught our attention because it was the only hill around us. The rest of the land was a level, grassy field. On top of the hill was a huge, very old, beautiful tree. We were so captivated by this tree that we decided to climb the hill to get closer. The tree was the only thing on the hill, and the canopy was so large that the shade from it covered the entire hill. The ground around the tree was level, and the grass was tall and thick, much like the field we had just left. We were in awe of this beautiful tree, amazed at the size of the trunk, the massive expanse of its canopy. As we all walked around it, looking up into the branches of the tree, someone tripped over what appeared to be a root protruding out of the ground. Then, all of a sudden, these roots appeared everywhere. Where there had once been tall, thick grass, there was none. Now only the roots that had been there when we first came to the tree were lying everywhere on top of the ground. We were all very puzzled by this, so I walked over and looked more closely at one of the roots. I could see that it was moving, she says. This had not been obvious until I looked more closely. I motioned for my assistant, Darlene, to join me and whispered to her, "Watch this." We both could clearly see this root was moving. I walked over to Dutch and said, "Dutch, these are not roots. These are the backbones of demons. They are alive. They're eating the root system of this beautiful tree." The demons didn't realize we could see them, but with their backbones exposed, we could see their movements. By this time, others had joined us, and I asked, still whispering, that would be Gina, asked, still whispering, "What do we do about this?" Dutch responded, "I know what to do about it." He then walked away for a moment and came back carrying a perfectly carved wooden staff. Someone asked, "What is that?" I, being Gina, said, "This is a staff that has been carved from an old tamarisk tree. Tamarisks are evergreens." Dutch nodded his head yes, then handed the staff to me, and I walked over to one of the demon's backbones. I struck it with the evergreen staff. When I did, the demon vanished. I could actually hear the sound, poof, and it was gone. I began walking from root to root, striking them with the tamarisk staff. Then somehow all of the other people with me had staffs, also carved from tamarisk evergreens. They too were using their staffs to destroy the demons. Together, we destroyed every demon and saved the tree. End of dream. The large, beautiful tree high on the hill, surrounded by green grass, obviously represents America. Our nation has long been referred to as a city on a hill, spoken of frequently by our nation's founders and leaders. No less than 13 presidents have used this phrase in referencing America. A city on a hill is a phrase derived from the teaching of salt and light in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:14. In a modern context, it is used to refer to America acting as a beacon of hope for the world. This scripture was cited at the end of Puritan John Winthrop's lecture or treatise, A Model of Christian Charity, delivered on March 21st, 1630 at Holyrood Church in Southampton before his first group of Massachusetts Bay colonists embarked on the ship Arbella to settle Boston. Quoting Matthew 5:14, where Jesus warns a city on a hill cannot be hid, Winthrop warned his fellow Puritans that their new community would be, quote, as a city upon a hill, the eyes of all people are upon us, end quote. His meaning was that if the Puritans failed to uphold their covenant with God, then their sins and errors would be exposed for all the world to see. Quote, he said, so that if we shall deal falsely with our God in this work we have undertaken, and so cause him to withdraw his present help from us, we shall be made a story and a byword throughout the world. Could any warning have been more poignant and proven to have been more true? The size of the tree and lush green grass represents America's blessing and prosperity from God. Psalm 23, for example. We have been blessed and exalted for centuries as no other nation has ever been blessed, under God's favor and blessings. In the dream, quote, we were in awe of the beautiful tree, amazed at the size of the trunk and the massive expanse of its canopy, end quote. Indeed. In yesterday's post, I said of the tamarisk evergreen tree Abraham planted, representing his covenant with the everlasting God, quote, because they grow so slowly, no one plants a tamarisk tree for him or herself. He or she will never personally benefit from it. When planting this particular type of evergreen, Abraham was thinking of future generations, the descendants Olam had promised him. And he was making a powerful declaration to them. I am in covenant with everlasting God, and you will sit under the shade of my covenant with him. Covenant with God blesses not only us, but our children and grandchildren. God said he keeps covenant to 1,000 generations. This was certainly the case with Abraham, and it has been true of America. We have been enjoying the shade of our founder's covenant with God. In Gina's dream, however, the green pastures had already disappeared. The tree's roots were being destroyed. It doesn't take an arborist to know that a tree can still look and seem healthy for some time, even when its roots have begun to die. America is on life support. Our covenant roots have been dying, poisoned by demonic strategies which have been given place to by compromise and complacency. No honest person can deny this truth. Many in our government are dishonest. Much of our education system is a joke. We're over $30 trillion in debt. Our first and foremost fundamental right, freedom of speech, is being stolen. We kill our babies. The family unit has been decimated. We don't know male from female. Our borders are open, allowing thousands of women and children to be trafficked, terrorists to enter our country, and illegal drugs to be brought in, killing tens of thousands, all for the sake of future votes. Kindergartners are being taught that they can change their gender. Our president is mentally challenged and the laughing stock of the world. Our history is being revised and stolen. The church, God's remedy for these evils, has become a weak subculture, not salt and light. And sadly, the list could go on. To state that the grass is no longer green and the roots of the tree are dying is heartbreakingly true. In the dream, however, it was not too late for the great tree. God revealed the weapon needed to destroy the demonic strategies killing the tree. Like the evergreen boxing glove in the dream I mentioned yesterday and Friday, which pointed to Abraham, our founders, and the appeal to heaven flag, the weapon would be connected to covenant. We will address that tomorrow. Today, let's end the post by commanding the covenantal forward over America. Pray and decree with me. America was raised up by God to be a city on a hill, a beacon of light to all nations. America was called to preach the gospel of the kingdom to all nations of the earth. America is one nation under God. We have put our trust in Him and no other. We have no king but Jesus. The phrases, laws of nature and of nature's God, an appeal to the supreme judge of the world, the Creator, and divine providence are all in our Declaration of Independence. We decree that as a part of this legal document that birthed our nation, they give us authority today. We declare into the atmosphere of America that our faith is in this God. Leviticus 25:10 is on the Liberty Bell. Proclaim liberty throughout the land to all the inhabitants thereof. This verse, referencing Christ as the world's Redeemer, was announced at our birth through the ringing of the bell, proclaiming our faith and our destiny. We declare its message over America again today. Christ is our Redeemer. Proclaiming his message is our purpose. And lastly, America is in covenant with the faithful God who keeps covenant and mercy. Through him, America shall be saved. Amen. So be it. We are doing what he has told us to do. We will see in tomorrow's post the results. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you then.